Okay, chat, you already know what time it is. Twitch, say hi to YouTube, and YouTube, say hi to Twitch. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah. This is round one from the last tournament I just came back from in Charlotte. Played this first round. I played an international master here. His name is Unir Leva Rivera. From where's he from? Cuba. He's from Cuba. So all right, cool. Here's the game, right? And this one is called Hanging On. Hanging On. All right, pay attention. Here we go. So E4, C5, right? I'm playing white. Knight of 3, and then D6. So he goes, you know, I thought he was going to go knight off here, D4. But actually, from the files that I knew and saw that he played, in fact, the whole tournament, the only thing he played was the Roser. Like, he really only was playing the classical Sicilian. In fact, Roser was a choice of me. But knight f6 is indicating, obviously, some type of Sicilian. Now we can go, or which Sicilian he's going to go, Najdorf or classical. He goes knight c6, which I knew in the files he was going to go here. And here I was choosing which way I'm going to go after bishop g5. So knight c3, bishop g5. This is the razor sharp stuff. You know I like the razor sharp, right? You know, that's just how I like to play. So I like razor sharp stuff, and this is one of the more aggressive lines. So bishop to g5, I'm playing it. He goes e6, and here there's two ways you can play queen d2, which is the traditional old way, right? Uncle Nesbedinov, right? And Tal actually were queen d2 players. Queen d3 is more modern. It's a newer way of playing, and then taking on c6, castling, playing queen h3 at some point. Bishop c4, f4, f5 is a big idea that you play with queen d3 now. Queen d2 is still classical ideas with castling f3, g4, and going for mate. And I like this one more because I'm a fan of just thrusting the h and g pawns and trying to mate you. So queen to d2, he goes a6, which is still all theory here. I'm like blitzing out the moves. He is too. We blitzing out moves. Bishop d7, king b1, he stops and he thinks a little bit. Because king b1 is not the move that actually is played a lot. I was expecting a rook c8 or a b5, and he doesn't. He plays h6, which is one of the lines that I have looked at before. Bishop h4, I think you run into knight takes e4. It's a crazy trick. Bishop h4, you like lose. Knight takes e4, get that man off the board. Bruh. Tactics. You immediately lose a pawn, right? Look at that. If I take the queen, I take yours. Easy one. Easy one, right? Easy one. So, no good. No good. And obviously, if I take, I mean, you could try to get some counterplay here, but, I mean, this isn't just... You're down a pawn. It's not that good. And in fact, the engine gives a line like this. Takes, and then knight takes c6, you can play. Wow. And black just castles? Bro, this is nuts. Bruh. This was playable, but I wasn't trying to go through all of this. Like, I'm not doing none of this. So, after... Oh, that's a different position. So... Here. Yep. Okay, so he goes h6. I remember the theory being bishop e3. With the idea of if he goes knight g4, which I was hoping for, he didn't. But if he goes knight g4, I'll just show you what happens after knight to g4. We actually take on c6. We take, and then we play bishop f4. And you're like, why am I moving this bishop so many times? Then after e5, you just move the bishop right back to e3. Look at that. That's a cool move. Why? And what did we do all of this for? To poke a weakness. So now d5 is permanently weak. And you put the bishop on c4, and I just have a clear advantage. The d5 knight. I'm going to put a piece on d5. I'm going to play bishop c4. I'm going to move the queen. I'm going to have the d file. So it's very, very annoying for black. So I was hoping for this line. He doesn't go for this line. So after I go bishop to e3, he goes bishop to e7, which is very easy development. I go f3 because I'm like, well, shoot, you were supposed to play there. You didn't play there. I'm already feeling good. F3, he goes h5, and I was like, bruh. Come on, bro. Dang, he stopped my g4 push. That's exactly what I was about to do next. Thanks for the follow, Northern Lion. That's exactly what I was about to do next was g4. I'm just about to play it. But I played bishop e2 quite quickly because I'm like, okay, I do want to play g4. And then he goes queen c7, and we stop and we look at this position. Here's like a first point of like ideas and where you can go and like what can happen, right? So it's white's move. Where do you go in this position? What are you going to do? He said, Eggman, just follow. So what are we going to do, chat? What's an idea here? Get somebody give me something. AGM, thanks for hopping in the chat. Thanks for the follow, Gargaves. Yeah. Huh? Yeah, so what are we doing here? E5? Pawn E5? Like pawn E5? Like pushing the pawn to e5. He says, never mind, that's a blunder. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, we just wanted to make sure. Okay, perfect. Got it. Not e5. Not e5 there. Definitely not an e5. There's certain times you can play e5, but this is not one of those times, big fella, unfortunately. Fortunately. What do you think you do here, chat? Gargave, thanks for the tier 1. Yo, coming in with the follow and the sub, real quick. Real quick. Northern Lion, what's up? What's good with you? Northern Lion in the building. Profs Z. Knight takes c6. Okay. Big vibes, you already know. e5 and we not live. Exactly. So, ultimate passer with g4. So, in fact, guys, g4 is definitely a move. And I should have played this, looking back. The reason why I didn't is I didn't like the fact that these are broken up now. And, like, maybe there's a d5 here and also knight e5. I mean, yes, I have some play, but e5 is very, very weak. This is a square that you do want to try to get a knight off of eventually because the knight comes to c4 with b5 action, right? Also, rook to c8. I mean, like, I wanted to keep the flexibility here of playing g4. So what I did here, and I also knew that I remember playing this from the black side actually as a classical Sicilian player. I've also played accelerated, Najdorf. Like, I just love the Sicilian, so I played a lot of it. Castling queenside is actually an idea. It's a huge idea. You move the bishop and you play d5 at certain points. So knowing that he wants to castle queenside, or he can, because casting kingside with his weakness here, I mean, come on, big fella. Like, you get mated in 5. Bruh. You're going to get mated real fast if you go this way. So I'm like, where's this king going to go? So my idea here was like, all right, he about to go this way. Cool, where's his rook going to sit? There. So I came up with this move, queen to e1. So I play queen e1. Engine obviously doesn't like it. I mean, it goes to like, it's like minus 0.2. So it's literally nothing. Right, exactly what. Yo, thanks for gifting over there, King, to Northern Lion. Let's get it. Northern Lion, caught us up. So, right, I go queen e1 with the idea of queen f2. So if he castles queenside here, my idea now is queen f2. With now taking and playing bishop b6. So queen e1 was a high-level move, I thought, of playing queen f2. Rerouting, because it's going to deter your castle. It's going to deter the castle queenside. Lost all advantage. Good thing you're not playing Stockfish. Exactly. I'm not. Northern Lion, caught us up. Let's get it. Right, so I go queen e1, and then he goes b5. He goes b5. Right. Now here, this started to get very fishy and strange. I like creativity. One of my favorite players is Richard Rapport, right? Because of creativity, being creative, and ideas, and etc. So, you know b4 is coming. b4 is on the way, big fella. It is on the way. FM Quest, thanks for the follow. So I know this. I need to make a room for the knight, in fact. Engine says play a3. You have lost your mind if you think I'm about to play a3. And just let b4 and rook b8 and stuff like that happen. Like, I'm good. I'm not playing a3. Knight takes c6 can be played, but then, again, where am I going to put the knight? So I play bishop to d3, which is move number 3 on the engine. With the idea, I'm just about to tuck and roll with the knight this way. Knight e2. All right, knight e2. He goes knight e5. I'm like, cool. He's trying to take the bishop. It's whatever. You can have it. Knight c to e2. I reroute, so there's no b4. Right. God D Muhammad, what's up, bro? Daniel Jones with the 5. Let's get some energy, chat. There it is. There it is. Man, 5 in the chat. Let's go. God D Muhammad, thanks for the 5, bro. 5 piece and a biscuit there for my guy. Knight c to e2. Yeah. So I play knight c to e2. He goes queen b7. I thought this was strange, actually. I actually really was like, whoa. Like, yo, he didn't know what to do. Like, I mean, really, I didn't know what he was going to do anyway, but I did not expect queen b7. So I actually felt pretty good. I was like, oh, queen b7, bet. So I play a waiting move in a way, which is a good waiting move, h3, to play g4. At this point, I'm like, yo, I mean, where you going to put your king at? Like, you definitely ain't going this way. Everything open. And then this way, I mean, well, shoot, I'm about to prepare. h3. He goes h4 to try to stop my g4. So I'm feeling real good here. I'm feeling really good, right? And then this next move here is definitely creative, bruh, I should say here. Okay, white to move, chat. What do you think? What do you think we should do? And I'm going to tell you my thinking behind the move that I make next. But let's see what you come up with, chat. White to move. What are we doing right now? What move do we make? Knight at 4, okay. Knight at 4. I like to add those. F4 from searching for checkers. F4. Queen G1. Interesting. Bishop G5. Bishop G5 trying to win. BH4. Yeah. Bishop G5. Thanks for the follow, Neon Zaru Ramen. All right, so check this out, right? In post-game analysis, Bishop G5 was actually, in fact, this is the #1 move, and this is what I calculated. I did see Bishop G5. I thought I was going to snap the pawn off. My idea and what I saw here, Engine gives this equal, but I remember looking at this line in calculation, right? He played knight G8, and knight G8 because he's defending. And after Bishop takes, the knight is now actually rerouted because on F6 he's really bad and he's vulnerable to the attacks. So now he's doing good, and he also supports D5. And in this position, I was like, why did I help him do that? And the pawns, I can't capture it anymore. And the engine says that this is no more than equal. So I was like, I wasn't a fan of this, but even in post-game analysis, he was like, yeah, Bishop G5. And I'm like, nah, bro, like, I wasn't feeling this. Like, this feels good for black. I mean, it feels okay. It feels like you're surviving. I can't really advance yet. I mean, I can, but the more pieces that come off actually does help black. So I'm not a fan of that. And in Sicilians, you do need to understand that more pieces that can come off in certain positions usually will favor black with the C file. But he has weaknesses. H pawn, D pawn is weak. But again, the in-game activity of the pieces, Sicilian, black should be fine. Don't you have F4 and F5 in this position? Great question, guys. In fact, F4, I actually did not go with F4 because of this, right? This is COE. Make sure you get your calculation, right? Calculation over everything. You already know. Okay, we got to pop it up here. There it is. This is a little short snippet that we always throw in every YouTube video, right? It's the same thing. You got to calculate. Calculation over everything every single time. Every single time. Watch this, right? So F4, I go F4. The idea here is actually all he has to do is move the knight somewhere. Knight C4 is really strong, by the way. Really strong. Knight C4 is ridiculously strong. It hits the bishop. Also, E4 is hanging. E4 is hanging. And the idea here, even if he goes G6, I was like, well, shoot, I'm going to have to push forward. I'm going to have to. Because E4 is hanging. If I go Knight C3, he goes B4. And then the pawn's hanging. So the problem is that E4 is hanging, right? Problem is that E4 is hanging. After Bishop G5 and the line on knight F6, so you're talking about this line, H4, Bishop G5, Knight G8, takes, and then F4. Yeah, F4, right? F4, I think you can just liquidate here. Knight takes, and then Rook C8. And I mean, you know, the problem is the pieces come off. I can still play this. It's very playable. But F5, he goes E5, and E5 is going to weaken stuff. It's going to make this weaker. This is not the greatest. This is not that good for me. I mean, it's not terrible. Like white, actually, let me see. It just says 0.6. So it's like, I mean, it's a playable position, both sides. I still would take white, I think, here. But this is not what I'm looking for right now. I wanted to keep some more pieces on the board. Just to make him, you know, make a mistake somewhere. So I didn't want to liquidate. So I play knight to C1. I play this interesting move, knight C1. And the idea here is I want to play bishop F2 and play F4. I do want to play F4. And I want to play E5, but I need to be able to defend this E4 pawn. So I put this knight on C1. Very strange. Also, I think he thought I was going to do something like this too as well, which I don't really care that much. Maybe I can even take, but I really want to go this way and then play F4 and E5 or F5. So I play knight C1. Very creative move. He goes B4. I'm like, cool. Then I'm like, well, yo, this was so funny, bro. Bruh. Oh, man. So this is... Another creative move, chat. Like this was so funny to me. I think that this was a funny Queen E1 and Knight C1 were very funny maneuvers. And I make another funny maneuver here with another idea in mind. So obviously I want to play F4. Obviously. But if I play F4, he just takes the bishop. Bro, he just takes it. This is annoying. Like I don't want to do this. I don't want to play this way. First off, why did my knight go here to take with the pawn? Right, it doesn't make any sense. And F4, this doesn't do, and this is no good. This looks really bad. And if I take with the knight, I just literally drop a pawn. What are you doing? Go home right now. Garbage. Go home. Like, you just dropping this pawn for what? Right, no compensation. Right, you know, and then D5, okay, we can get this pawn, but you're opening up lines. Like, this is not the way to play at all. So, I play bishop to E2, bro. I mean, this is so funny to me, bro. I was literally laughing at myself. I have done this before, like, you know, smiling and smirking at the board. You're like, what are you laughing at? Because of some of the ideas that are going on in my head here. Bishop E2 was funny to me. After knight to C1, like I made room for the knight to go to E2. Then I made room for the bishop to go back to E2. just so I could play f4 and not have to worry about knight takes d3, put this bishop on f3, reroute this way, play e5 and f5 with the queen on the x-ray. So this was the whole idea, but it looks strange, but very, very logical, concrete stuff behind it. Also, knight c4 is not happening anymore, and it's kind of crazy. So I play bishop e2, he goes d5, and I'm like, oh, nah, bro, that ain't gonna work, big fella. Now, of course, it actually does work. I hit him with bishop f4, which is a really cool move. He goes knight g6, and then I tuck the bishop. And I'm saying, I dare you to take twice. I dare you to take twice. Right after pawn takes, which he doesn't do. But after pawn takes and queen takes e4, can anyone tell me what the move is here? After queen takes e4. So he steals a little pawn. He steals a little pawn. But what do we have in return for the big fella over here? What do we have in return for the big fella? Play bishop g1, yeah, right? Bishop f3 from Northern Line. Put the bishop on f3. Bishop f3, poggers. Anything else, chat? Bishop b5. Wow. Okay. Do you trap the queen? Says King. Well, you got to tell me. I'm asking you, buddy. Asking you, King. What do we do? Where do we go? We have bishop f3 and bishop b5. Bishop f3 doesn't work right. In fact, it does not work. Bishop f3, the problem is he just stole a pawn from me. Right. I'm sorry. He just stole a pawn. So after rook takes, we got some compensation. I mean, these bishops are snipers right now. Like, boy, these boys are sniper rifles. For real. But I'm done a pawn, right? And I mean, I probably can get it back at some point. Engine gives the zeros there. But the idea here is, in fact, trapping the queen like, or esque, queen f2 with the idea of bishop f3. Very, very strong. Very, very strong stuff. Very, very scary. My idea is bishop f3. So if he moves the rook, like rook c8, well, look at that. Bishop f3, and your queen's traps. You can't move the queen. Resign. Right now. On the spot. Get him off the board. So he doesn't do this, right? And it obviously is that this doesn't happen. His best move, believe it or not, you have to find queen b7, which I saw this in calculation. My next move, watch this, chat, was bishop f3, right? And the engine says queen a8 or c8. A7 or c8, and give up the exchange, right? I thought he was going to play knight d5, which runs into a big boy move, knight f5. And I was going to flex real hard. I was going to stand up, and I was going to flex with knight f5 on the board. I was ready to play this. I was so ready to play this. I was ready. I was ready, bro. I calculated this. And he didn't go for none of this, but I definitely was looking like, bro, I'm about to hit this man with the haymakers across his body. What's good, Canty? Day 64 Pod. What's up, bro? Started going to the gym a month ago and have been seeing serious gains. Wondering if you have any tips on how to stay motivated at the gym. In fact, yeah, motivation-wise, you have to lose motivation. What I mean by that is it needs to be a discipline. Have something to work towards, but discipline. It needs to be more of a discipline than it is motivation. Because if you're not motivated, you know, there's so many times where you're not going to go. A lot of times you're not going to go, and it's just going to get worse over time. So it needs to be developed as a discipline. Treat it as in, like, I have to go. I literally have to go. Have to go. Yo, thanks for the raid. JB! John Bartholomew. What's up, man? We going over my round one right now. My round one in the last Charlotte, when I played this International Master. So we're looking at that right now. No problem, son of chess. So, all right, we look at this crazy line, right? Pawn takes, e4 takes, and then queen takes, and I go queen f, and queen f2 is going to be nasty with bishop f3. But so, and then pawn takes, right? So we looked at this in post-game analysis too. There's also knight takes c4. After knight takes, I have the same idea, bishop f3. Only way to defend this knight is f5. This looks crazy here. And really from here, I could do anything. Knight d3, knight f2, queen e2, rook d1, right? But castles, I thought knight d3 was a good move. And then after knight d3, castling, and then swinging that boy back to f2. And look, I mean, you know, look how great this is for white. JB in the building. Thanks for the raid, bro. Have a good one. Products of their experience. Thanks for the follow. So I was looking at this line. So I was happy to play bishop h2. And I'm like, bro, I got you. Like, I got to be winning this somehow. Bishop h2. And he goes a5 on me. At this point, I'm like, no, this got to be right. I found a way to open up the bishop. You know, I like the Jar Jar Binks London, right? Joe Bava London. Make sure you go to my YouTube and check the playlist about that. But pawn takes and bishop d3. This reminds me of Joe Bava lines with the knight on g6, where usually what we want to do is put the bishop here, snap that boy, and like literally put a knight on f4 like GG and get the man off the board. So I really have a plan there. After takes, bishop here with the idea of here, but also here. and also swinging the knight behind somehow. So I have lots of plans here. King's in the center. I'm also threatening bishop takes and knight takes e6 right now. At this point, I'm thinking, bro, I'm about to get this dub. I'm getting the dub first round. I am about to go down. I'm getting the dub, right? And this is really how I'm feeling right here. Feels like great. I mean, my position feels good. King's still in the center of the board here, right? So, and then he goes rook h6. I'm like, so he's not castling. King in the center. Pieces look kind of strange. I got pressure on him. And the engine says somehow this is equal. It's so ridiculous how the engine calculates, right? So after rook h6, bishop to e4, believe it or not, he goes king f8. What y'all think the evaluation is? What do you think the eval is right now? King f8. King f8. What do you think the eval is? The evaluation bar. You look at this position, you know f4 is coming. I got rook f1. He pinned up. What you think this is, bro? -1 from Northern Lion. Right. Minus 0.8. Turkey. Okay. -2. Okay. Zeros from Ultimate Passer. A lot of zeros. All right, chat. The eval bar here says 0.56. Bruh. I know, Northern Lion in the chat, exactly. Northern Lion in the chat. Right. It's 0.56, chat. It's kind of crazy, right? Yeah, we got Northern Lion in the chat. You already know, bro. What up with you? It's good. Engine says this guy uses engine. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, big shot. We got Celeb in the chat. Northern Lion, let's get him. Yeah, it's F4. F4 is the best move, but it's 0.56. Unbelievable. So a human, absolutely. As a human, I'm like, yo, I'm sitting at the table. I'm sitting here at round 1, playing white. I'm playing the strongest guy in our section. He's an international master. And I'm like, bro, I'm about to, like, this is an easy one. Like, let's get it. You're like, let's go. So I play F4. He goes rook E8. And he's getting in time trouble, by the way. I remember time trouble. I don't know how much time he had. I got to check my my score sheets. But I don't know how much time he had. But he definitely had a lot less than me. And he was in dangerous time zone. I mean, he might have 5 minutes here. Maybe a little more. But we on move 24, and he's in time trouble. His king's on f8. He didn't castle. How is this equal? How, bro? Bruh. How, right? How? I mean, I play f5, and I lean back. Well, not really, but, I mean, you could lean back. f5, best move. Takes, knight takes. Bishop takes f5. Bishop takes d5. Everything is still equal. I mean, chess is so hard, bro. Chess is so hard. You get this position, and it's still equal. Unbelievable, right? I know. Unbelievable. Rook on a6. I mean, look at the file with a smile here. Like, we got everything we want. I mean, maybe not everything. We do have a weakness here. But the fact that this is equal is baffling. And then watch the next few moves. He goes queen c8. And believe it or not, I'm not going to lie to you. I played queen f2 quite quickly and then realized bishop c5, and I thought I blundered. But then I go back and I feel like a genius somehow, because queen f2 and then queen f1, this funny maneuver like this is actually what the engine wants you to do. Like, the engine's like, no, Canty, I know it looked like a blunder. You gave him a tempo for free that opens up the rook file that also threatens bishop takes c2 if you put the queen on the wrong square. But it's fine, right? And what I mean by that is after queen f2, bishop c5, queen f1. Right now, the problem is if you go somewhere else, right? If you go somewhere else, like queen f3, for instance, in some cases, luckily I can do this. But I mean, watch this: bishop takes c2. Sheesh, bro. King takes, right? You know, but the bishop has nowhere to go right now. It's kind of scary. The bishop has nowhere to go. Like, if I have a dark square, do I have any dark squares I could have went to? No, I didn't have any. But the fact that bishop c2 is here, followed by a discovery, is frightening. This is kind of frightening right now. So I go queen f1. He goes knight e5. Right here is still all equal. I cannot believe that. The chat, I mean, this is crazy. Chess is so hard, right? But this is still equal right now. Bananas, exactly. This is still equal somehow. And then I play a few moves. Bishop b3 is the best move on the engine, right? He finds rook f6. At this point, I'm a little sweating. I ain't gonna lie. I'm like sweating a little bit. I'm like, hold on, man. Hold on, big fella. Let me adjust my. Hold on, man. Let me make sure my COE hat on. All right, hold on. I'm good. I'm good. All right, all right. Because it's getting spicy. Bishop takes C2. Check is real. It's in the way. It's there. Now, it's on you, Chad. How do you get out of this? How do you get... I thought here. I mean, I almost got in time trouble. I almost got in time trouble. I think I did at some point. And we were almost even on time. So it's white to move. Oh, you need a move. And you better find one right now. You better find a move. Oh my goodness. You're in trouble. Bishop takes C2 is the threat. This is the threat. If you move the king, that's cool. Or that's cute. I'm going to still take it. If you don't move the king, I'm still going to take it if your queen is on F1. So you need to do something right now, chat. Right absolutely now. Queen B5, Queen B5, Queen B5. That's it. Y'all are yelling it. Queen B5, that's it. 93, that's 100% premium face blockage. Garbo, send the stretcher to his address. We got that boy on file, right? Hit that man with a move. You just out of there. Start a new game. This is a family channel, right? Start a new game. So Rook F6, Queen B5. I get out of the way. I get out of the way immediately. Immediately. I get out of the way, which is the best move. Queen B5 is the best move. And then he goes Bishop D7. And then where do you go now, chat? Where do you go now? Oh, this is crazy. Oh my goodness. The engine is so nasty. I didn't think... Wow. That's best line. Jeez, man. That is... Chess is so fascinating. I mean, when I show you this line, this is fascinating. This is fascinating to me. I mean, it really is. I didn't see this at all, and I was not considering this at all. At all. Now, there's two ways to do this. In fact, well, let's see what you chat. Let's see what y'all do, chat. Let's just see what you do. Snap it. Can you take the pawn? Rook takes D7. Snap it, then Queen C4, Rook F1. Rook takes, sack the exchange. All right, watch this, chat. So, in fact, Queen takes A5, and both of us, me and him in post-game analysis, was like, yeah, and if Queen takes A5, Rook A6. And we stopped the analysis right here. Stopped it right here. Stopped it. Watch this. The engine says, I cannot believe this. It says, give up your whole queen. Take it. Bro, what are you talking about? Oh, no. Oh, no, I was not about to do this. And then takes, and it says, take this. And then it says this is equal. If Rook takes E5, you have an obvious Rook takes D7. And this is equal. Now, I mean, I guess no real weaknesses. This is weak, but I don't trust this that much. I mean, there is some play. I don't really trust it, though. And, you know, I'm not about to do that. Especially from the position that I had to now sacking my queen is a fail. It's a fail. It's a huge fail from the white pieces. So I'm not going that route. I'm not going that route. And I thought this was also a fail too as well. And it just says Rook takes D7 with the idea of if Queen takes, obviously this hangs, so you can't do it. But you take with the knight. And then I saw this move, Bishop A4. I actually calculated this quite quickly. Bishop A4 because I'm hitting this, which is a nice diagonal. And then if Rook D8, I thought Rook to D1. And the engine says that this is fine and playable. And then Black is supposed to play Bishop E7. And we're supposed to trade this out. But do you think I'm about to play this? Why would I play this out? I mean, okay, maybe here. Actually, I'm up a piece now, so I will play this out. It's kind of weird, but I was thinking, what about a knight move? Knight B6? Wow, that must just lose. Wow, Queen takes C5. Oh my goodness. Bro, this is nuts. The engine has so... Look at this mate. Look at that mate. Look at that. That's mate. I ain't see none of that, obviously. Like, I mean, that's just ridiculous. So what happened was, though, I actually went Queen E2. And right now, this is why this is called Hanging On. This is the name of this YouTube video, Hanging On. Because right now, it's already -3. Oh, yeah. It's a wrap for your boy. Bruh. I'm in trouble right now. By a lot. And I actually asked him, I was like, what would you do on Knight G4? Which he missed, but I saw this. I knew Knight G4 was a move, but it was complicated. It was very complicated. After Knight G4, I saw Queen here. And if Knight F2, I actually had Rook F1 here. Rook F1 is some crazy lines like this. Rook F1 and then Knight takes D1, but then Rook takes F6. And then after Bishop E6, I take on E6. Right, and I think if Rook takes, I can just, I don't remember what to do here. Maybe like a Bishop G1. Let me see what the engine says. Bishop D6. Oh my goodness, didn't even see that one. Sheesh. And Bishop G1, yeah. But I saw this. I saw some of this. But again, this is murky. This is very murky stuff. But what wins is Knight E3. And then after Queen takes H4, He could go rook h6 in some lines, but engine just says sidestep king ga or take the rook. And I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot of work left. It's a lot of work left. He missed this gladly. He was in time trouble. And he plays a4. And I'm like, dang, that's a good move. Like, man, that's a good move, bro. It's a real good move. And we get in time trouble. So I had to get rid of this knight because if I move the bishop, there's just too many things going on. So I had to get rid of the knight. He goes takes. I take back. He goes bishop b6. This is really tough. Really tough to find a move here. My best move is rook d2, which is crazy. I mean, I'm just not going to play rook d2. I was not going to play rook d2. Are there any super GMs that would have come up with the queen sack? Probably. But again, I think it's a matter of having the position you have now versus sacking the queen. You know, like back here, sacking the queen, like, do you think that when you get a position like this, I mean, look how this feels, right? You got a rook coming to f1. The king is not castled. The rook is, what are you doing on h6, right? f5's coming. This is kind of loose. The only thing you really have here is this, which is not enough. I go f5. We take, and you get this position, and you telling me later I'm about to sack my queen and try to win as a super G. I'm like, that's just, no, bro. Something happened. Something wrong happened, right? When you have to sack a queen. So something's wrong. Something's wrong. Queen b5, the best line is rook takes d7. But it is definitely difficult. So queen e2, a4, bishop takes e5. Yeah, f5 was a little too early. But I mean, if I didn't take it, if I didn't do it, I think he had 97 g6, which kind of stops it. f5 was actually the best move, but the follow-ups here was hard, was the hard part. I go rook h to e1. This was a blunder. They say rook d2 was best. But I mean, of course, I'm just trying to defend and get out of the pin. Get out of the pin. He goes rook f2, which is obvious. That's a very nice move. I go queen e4 to defend it. Oh, you talking about right here? After bishop b6, queen h5? I thought about this. This was actually a move. And the line we looked at was rook h6, queen g5, hit this. Right, and if f6, then you go queen... No, you go rook f1. King g8, we obviously take on f6. So I saw this line too. I just didn't want to be wrong. So I just play rook e1. Yeah, I'll play rook e1. Easy move to make. We in time trouble too as well. He goes rook f2 to hit c2. I go queen e4. And then he hits me with he hits me with a move. He goes king g8. And I'm like, oh, snap. Bro. f6 is real. This is like a move. He could actually play f6. I'm actually going to get in trouble. And then if check, bishop e6. Now I looked at the queen d6, but there's like, man, there's all kind of stuff. He's also threatening almost rook takes e5. Oh, sorry. So I didn't know what to do. Engine says knight a1. You lost your mind. You think I'm going to put my knight on a1, big fella? Knight d4, best move. I did see that. But I chose this one. King a1. I just got out the way. I got tired of the c2 being the problem. c2 was the problem. And he was getting in time trouble, and he took this quite quickly. When he took on c2, I was like, bro, what? I was like, oh, this is a wrap. I literally thought he blundered. I thought he blundered, right? Because I'm like, I take, bro. I'm up a piece. I'm up a piece right now. But also, I mean, like, he could get a pawn back, but then he hit me with a move, and I was like, oh, that was sweet. Bishop f2 was good. And rook e4, I have, like, back rank problems, and the bishop is pinned. So he actually has some real compensation, weirdly enough. So I gave it back to him. I went into an endgame, and this is what I calculated. And this is why I say it's called hanging on. This game was wild, guys. I go rook c1. He takes, I take back, because I saw all of this, knight d3, with the idea of here, and here, and here, and the rook. My whole idea is get this pawn, go for a queen. Get this pawn, go queen. That's it. He goes rook here. Obviously, I can't take. Come on now. You're getting mated on the back rank. Don't block with your face. So now I go king b1. He goes bishop g3. I calculated this. I calculated knight takes b4. He takes. And here we go. We got a race, boy. a4. And then he hits me with a move right here. g5. I'm panicking. I am straight up panicking right now. I'm telling you. Oh my goodness, bro. He played g5, and I was like, am I lost? I don't know, but I know for a fact that I don't even know if it's right. I just got to push the pawn. Bro. Why didn't you take the knight? The race looks in your favor. Oh, you mean back here? I'm taking the bishop. Well, I mean, when you take here, rook takes, I now have to first deal with the mate, right? Secondly, you know, a4 happens. I mean, he could even go b3, right? And now you looking crazy out here. Like, what happened? Bruh. This is why you study your end games, Devereski. Devereski, very, very important. You need the activity over having the bishop. So king b1, I go knight takes b4, takes a4. See, you already know, bro. So he goes g5, I push. He goes g4. Bro, this is scary. I'm scared out of my mind right now. I go a6. He goes bishop f2. And what do you think you have to do here, chat? Man, this is crazy. This is crazy. Well, I mean, crazy first round, right? Crazy first round. Crazy first round here, chat. Quite to move. You underestimate how close the h-pawn is, I think. Yeah. Yeah, that boy was scary. I mean, g5 was like, oh, snap. That'll wake you up. That'll wake you up real quick. Rook d2, knight d3, and check. In fact, all of you guys are correct. All you guys are correct. All three moves work. In fact, rook d8 is actually the worst. But knight d3 is number 1. Rook d2 is number 2. So I did knight d3. I did knight d3. And then bishop to g1. Now here, in fact, the best move that is like better is bishop b6. But my idea was I was gonna bully the rook. I mean, bully the bishop. But he could just take now. He could just take. All right, and I don't have enough time. He was very low on time here. He was very low on time. And I was too. I mean, we was probably, if he had a minute, I may have had 3. Something like that. After having a 90-minute, 30-second increment game. So a long game. Very long game. And lots of time used for both of us. Because I had to calculate this line, knight d3. And stuff gets tricky. Like, if he takes here, I actually have knight takes f2. Right. And then if he takes, then I queen. So that's the whole idea. Also, what if he tries g3? If he tries g3, I can play, I think, knight f4. And after knight f4, he moves the rook, and then it's probably going to end up in a draw because I'm going to sack on this pawn. Even if he checks me, it doesn't matter. Like, check, go here. I'm going to sack on this pawn, or when he sacks, I'm going to sack on this one. I also can hold. So it means I'm actually holding. And just says it's zeros here. So let me see what happened. After knight d3, though, knight d3, rook d2 takes, knight d3, h2, rook takes, f2, a8, queen is what? Yeah, exactly. You get like, oh, you mean a8 queen? No, tell me back here. Oh yeah, rook d2, the rook d2 line. Yeah, rook d2, g3, exactly, knight d3. But a7, oh, it's black's move, so we need to do something. So check, and then, well, nope. Let's go king a1. So you can't go rook a1. I don't know. This is difficult. Like, you can't do this. g2's coming, and this is next. It's not over. I lost the game to Antipov, though, like this. This is crazy. I mean, look at this game. Like, what is this? What is this? H1, yeah, not A8. So, but here's the game, right? So A5, G4, A6, bishop F2, knight D3. He goes bishop G1. He goes bishop G1. All right. I go knight F4 because the rook's hanging, and I will take this. And then I'm going to push at some point. He takes on H3 with the idea of, obviously, if I take the rook, I'm just losing immediately. He doesn't even have to, well, taking it works too, but H2 is playable. But H takes is even better because I'm going to sack, and then I'm going to win. But I played knight F4 here, and then he took the pawn, and I took back and I offered a draw. And he had like 30 seconds, and I had like almost 2 minutes, something like that. And he took he was like, he shook real fast. He was like, bro, for sure, dog. Yeah, dog. Because I was like, this is too much right now, and I could lose this game. He could lose this game. I don't know. Like, this was too much, but no, this is definitely a draw. It's like zeros now. Very difficult game for both of us. Ended in a peaceful draw here. At the end, in front of the beginning. I mean, this was crazy, right? Castles, king b1, bishop e3, f3. You know, I'm supposed to go g4. Now I know. In this line, queen e1 was just too clever, trying to get around this way. b5, bishop d3, and then I just got weird with the pieces. It worked out though, right? The knight c1 maneuver to put the bishop here, to play f4, to play bishop f3. Were you winning, or is it? No, this game was literally equal the whole time, and then I had a blunder it somewhere in the end. Obviously in the in-game stuff, but this was like equal. I mean, it's miraculous what the engine says is equal, right? when you have a position, you have initiative. You can feel the initiative for white. I mean, you just feel the pieces are better. Pieces are just better. You know, F5, I get F5 in, the king here, like, come on. Come on. But, you know, first round was a draw. Not mad at it. Playing the strongest player in our section was the international master and ended up getting a draw in the first round, right? So, of course, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. This is for YouTube. Make sure y'all subscribe. If you haven't already, we're going to do round 2 tomorrow. We'll see y'all on the next one.